On to question 7, probability, everyone's favourite. The following table shows the probability distribution of a discrete random variable x, and you're told that both a and b must be positive. That's logical here. In part A asks you to show that b is equal to 0.3 minus a. It's worth 1 mark, so it should be fairly straightforward. I'm going to use the idea that the sum of all of my probabilities must be equal to 1. Effectively, I'm just saying that the probability of something occurring, so either 1 for a or a plus b minus 0.5, must be equal to 1. Something must happen. There's nothing outside of this sample space, so in this case 0.2 plus 0.5 plus b plus a is equal to 1, and therefore b plus a is equal to 1 minus 0.5 minus 0.2, 0.3, and so b is equal to 0.3, subtract a as required. Part B is more complex. Find the difference between the greatest possible expected value and the least possible expected value. So several things I need to do here. I need to find the greatest possible expected value, I need to find the least possible expected value, and I need to find the difference between them. So I'm just going to write at the very bottom of my sheet, difference, so that I remember that's what the question has actually asked of me. But hopefully I will. Anyway. So for part B, even if I don't really know how to begin this, I do know how to find my expected value. So my expected value of x is equal to the sum of x times the probability of x equaling little x, which is 1 times 0.2 plus 4 times 0.5 plus a times b, and then plus a plus b minus 0.5 times a, which isn't very nice. 1 times 0.2 is 0.2, 4 times 0.5 is 2, so I've got 2.2. Then I've got this whole thing here, but I can simplify it somewhat by using b is equal to 0.3 minus a. And usually if it's a show that question, I am going to use what I find in subsequent parts. So I'm going to therefore rewrite this as a times b being a bracket 0.3 minus a, and then here I have a plus 0.3 minus a minus 0.5 times a, which is just 2.2 plus 0.3a minus a squared, and then I've got minus 0.2a, which is just 2.2 plus 0.1a minus a squared. I like to have it in that form. That helps me a little bit because I'm finding greatest and least values, in other words the minimum and maximum values, so I'm going to be plotting that on my graph. So I go into menu and graph, and I type in my equation 2.2 plus 0.1 times x minus x squared. And some amongst you may have spotted, there you go, some amongst you may have spotted this. We've got a quadratic equation here. So it's fairly easy to find my maximum value. I'm just going to use my GDC, G solve max, and it gives me that my maximum value of EX is equal to 2.2025. I'm not going to round it at this stage because I need to find my difference in the end. My minimum value is a bit harder because there's no minimum on my graph. So I need to instead consider the extreme points of my function. I know that a has to be greater than or equal to 0 from up here, and also just using logic, probabilities cannot be negative. And I also know, therefore, using the thing I found in part A, that a is somewhere between 0 and 0.3. So I can use my GDC to find out my values of EX when a is equal to 0 and a is equal to 0.3. And in fact, I don't really need to bother doing that because it's so obvious from my graph that at a equals 0 I have a maximum, or 0.05, sorry, I have a maximum value, and therefore 0.3 will be my minimum. But I'm going to work it out for both anyway. I go into G solve, and I want to work out my y value given an x value. So I enter x is equal to 0, I get the expected value of x is equal to 2.2. And do the same thing again, but this time for the other extreme of a, so ycal, given that x is 0.3, gives me ex equals 2.14. And therefore my expected value of x minimum is equal to 2.14. I need to find my difference between them. So my difference between them, delta ex, is equal to 2.2025 minus 2.14. So I go into my calculator, 2.025. I've not rounded anything yet, minus 2.14. Oh, I see. So that would not make any sense, but I cannot type into a calculator, and therefore it's 2.2025 minus 2.14, which is 0.0625, which makes much more sense to me, and it's already 2.3 SF, so that's 7 marks sorted.